Welcome back to our series, I'm Not in Capernaum, where we focus on the healing miracles of Jesus in Capernaum. Today we're going to be focusing on the healing of a man with an impure spirit. And this can be found in Luke 4:31 to 37. But before we take a look at that, as I was going through this story, I was reminded of a time that happened a couple years ago. See, when I was in my teenage years, my early 20s, I had great memories of fun times with my youth group. I am so thankful for those years where I was able to fellowship with them and where I was able to grow spiritually with them as well. I looked forward to every Wednesday of having service and meeting together and just growing more in the Lord. So about 8 years ago, in our youth room, we had this one black wall. The purpose of that black wall was that it was supposed to serve as a chalk wall so that all of the youth would be able to take different chalk and just, put our names, put our birthdays, draw something if we wanted to, just really make the space our own. And, about 8 years ago, we were in the season of December, about to start the new year. And our youth pastors had the great idea of having all of the youth choose one word for the following year. That word was going to be our focus. It was going to be our motivation. It was going to be what we wanted the next year to look like for us. Words like growth or love or faith, things like that. And it was going to be what we were going to just focus on spiritually, focus on just in our lives. Now, it sounds like a great idea, right? But if you remember, the wall itself was covered with other things, names, birthdays, drawings, stuff like that. And so guess who volunteered to clean this wall? Me. On my Christmas break, this pastor's daughter was like, oh yeah, I can definitely get that ready for you. Like, I can do that, no problem. So little did I know what I had signed up for. This wall was incredibly difficult to clean. I tried with water, I tried with soap. I even ended up Googling how to clean chalk walls because there just kept being streaks everywhere. And some people had said, oh, try using lemon juice. Some said soap and water. Some just said water with a sponge. So many things. Hours and hours later, I was there with the sponge trying to erase this wall. And it literally felt like it took 1,000,000 times for me to be able to just wipe it to get it to the point where you could not see markings. My arms were sore. I was tired. I was frustrated. But, thankfully I did get to the point where there was no more chalk on the wall. Now, I reflect on this and I thank God that that's not how God is with us when it comes to cleansing our impurities. He knows how to make things clean and pure in an instant. I imagine that if it was up to God to clean that chalk wall, he probably would have just snapped his fingers and poof, it would have been perfect. It would not have taken as long as it took for me. And I thank God that, when we have impurities in our heart or in our life, and we ask God to remove those impurities and those things and to make us clean, to make us whole, he can do it in an instant. But it really is up to us. And of course, first we have to ask God to do that, but we also have to make sure that we don't get back to the same state that we were. We need to not allow those things to come back in our life to taint us again. Once we're clean, we have to set those boundaries. We must do things different so that we don't reach the same place that we were. You see, like this Bible story said, when this man that had the impure spirit, Jesus recognizes it and he sets that man free. And the people around, they look at Jesus and they start being in awe of the authority and the power that he speaks in, that he was able to cast this demon out of this man. And just like that, we have to be reminded that Jesus has authority and power over all things. And if we allow him, he can make our lives better as well. He can make us pure, no matter what we've gone through or how tainted we are. God can cleanse us. So, As we have already begun this new year, I want you to think for a moment. What impurities do you have in your life that you should be leaving in this past year, that you should be leaving in the past and start this new year fresh? It could be maybe a relationship that is not beneficial to you or that weighs you down, that keeps you from the ways of the Lord. Maybe it can be friendships that just do not influence you in the pure and holy ways that God calls us to live in. Or maybe it can be a show that you watch, or a place that you go, or a thought that you dwell on too much. That it doesn't push you towards God, or even closer to Him. So make the decision today, I'm saying today, to leave those things behind. Now I know that it's easier said than done. It can be difficult, but God is with you, and He's going to help you let go and give you the strength that you need to do what is best for you. And then you're going to see, just like this man did that had the impure spirit, how you can walk in freedom, how you don't have to feel burdened down anymore, but you can live in that freedom that Christ calls us to live in. You can feel the weight lift off of your shoulders, that you have a blessed and amazing year in the ways of the Lord. This is my hope for each of you guys that are watching, that in this new year, you can walk closely with the Lord, striving to live a life of holiness and purity with God's help. So I pray that this new year you can walk in that purity and that you can leave those things behind that should not follow you in this new year. May God bless you.